Yeah, welcome back to Raw Sports Radio. I'm here with my partner, Straight Talk Ted, and I'm your host, Courtside. Let's cover these the playoff play-in tournament. This race approaching 4 weeks to the end of the season. I want to get into it, Ted. I want to talk about the teams that's looking in, or the ninth and 10th spot. I want for that.
Okay.
Let's start off with the Eastern Conference. Well, you have the Raptors at 7 and 8. So for right now, they're safe. But you also have the Atlanta Hawks. The Charlotte Hornets at ninth spot and Atlanta Hawks at 10th.
Okay.
Yeah. The Hornets at the eighth spot for that playoff is the Nets with 34 and 33, and then followed by the Hornets at the ninth spot at 33 and 35, and the 10th spot the Hawks at 32 and 34.
Right.
Which I feel it is possible for the Hornets or the Hawks to get into the eighth spot with the Nets, even though we all know they have the better roster, better team. But
Right.
with the Nets being faced with the challenge of Kyrie not being able to play the home games,
Right.
they got a they got like 11 home games coming up. So that's not really helping the Nets. They only got four away games, and they got a tough schedule at home where they're gonna need Kyrie.
Right.
They coming up. They playing the Knicks. They just came off a victory, in Philly, which that helped. But they got the Knicks coming up, which is the Knicks, the Mavs at home, the Trailblazers, the Jets, the Hornets,
Right.
Pistons, Bucks, Rockets, Knicks, and Cavs and Pacers to finish the season off.
Right.
Uh, what you think about that with Nets trying to make that push into the playoffs, being with Kyrie not being able to play home games?
Yeah, it's interesting you talk about that because the situation with that whole mandate with the mask, it just the every time you turn around, the basically the goalpost keeps moving. One minute they saying, like right now, basically you don't
Right.
have to wear a mask in the store. So see, my whole issue with that, I hope he can play. You know what I'm saying? Because that would be a nice good push. But you know, this New York City mandate with this mask thing is a little weird because, or even like for instance, like people can play at the Barclays Center and not even be vaccinated. So it's kind of weird. You know what I mean? So I can understand what
Hmm.
his argument was saying, hold on, you know, this we don't have to wear masks and teams can come in and actually can play and not even be vaccinated, but yet I'm not vaccinated and I can't play. So it's a little weird, but I would hope that he can play. Will it have an effect on him as far as in that eight position? Is a possibility. Yeah, sure.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's possible. Um, but the way they look, they sure look real good the other day when they played, and I was like, man, if they can have it for the home games, that would be a plus, absolutely. So, um, will there be any movement and changes between those teams, between Toronto and Atlanta and all that? I really don't know, man, because they all got tough schedules to a certain degree, um, and it depends on if they can just who has momentum going towards the going towards this playoff run. In this case, with these two teams, the playing game. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Remember, this is a new format as we spoke
Hmm.
about earlier. So yeah, it's different.
Yeah. I forgot to mention. I'm gonna continue on with the Nets, but I just wanted to mention that you know the Raptors are in the seventh spot. They're 36 and 30. Uh, they got about 14 more games to play. As of late, they've been 5 and 5, and the Nets got about 15 more games on their schedule. They've been about what 4, 5, and 6, I think, lately.
Right.
And then you have in the West the T Wolves sitting at the seventh spot. They've been on a hot streak with 7 and 3,
Right.
with 14 games left in the season, and the Clippers, who've been 6-4 lately, the record at 35-34 with 13 games left. Uh,
Well, see, you know, you
T-Wolves
make it
38-30. But far as with the going
right.
back to the Nets,
Yeah.
with the schedule, let me pull that up with the Nets. Because I just
Well, see,
want to
like,
look at their schedule because it's going to be an uphill battle for them, being
well,
shorthanded.
especially they have a lot of,
If
you
they
know, they
get
have a lot of
Ben,
home games, you know, at the end. Sure.
right, if they get Ben Simmons back, it'll definitely make things better. And I think you know what, and I think he will be coming back. He will be playing soon on the 18th or
Somebody
20th.
mentioned you mentioned the 18th. I tell you, man, if he comes back, I think that'll be great. I think that'll be an added, you know, an added person
Hmm.
that can just really just plug and play. And I think he's ready to go. So I think he's going to be definitely a good addition for them making
Right.
this playoff run if he plays. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, definitely. So maybe it might balance out, like you're saying, even if they have more home games. But if Ben Simmons comes back, it may balance out. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that may make the difference.
Right. Because they play the Knicks tomorrow. We'll be in here giving the pregame prediction on that.
Oh, that should be fun. That should be fun because let me tell you something. That's for New Yorkers with Knicks right now.
Right.
Brooklyn against the Knicks, man. That's going to be a tough game. That's a
Right. You
tough
got
out
some
for both
diehard Knicks
teams.
fans out there.
Yeah, yeah. The
Don't
Knicks
care
fans,
what's going on. Look, win or
yeah.
lose.
And the game is
Uh,
an important game. It's more important for the Knicks than it is the Nets. But the
well,
bottom line, the Knicks need to get every win they can get.
all right, and that'll be in Brooklyn. It don't really matter where if it's in Brooklyn or Manhattan, because Top Kyrie can't play. In the state. So after that, they face off with the Magic on the road. So Kyrie will be able to participate in that game, which I'm gonna go and count that a win. They face off also the Mavericks on the 16th, still without Ben Simmons, and they won't have Kyrie, so
Right,
that's a toss up. They could possibly lose that game. Then they got on the 18th Ben Simmons return, that a home game versus the Trailblazers, so I know that's a
right,
win. I'm counting that one. Then they got Jazz coming into town. Nets, and they got Ben Simmons. Nets, Grizzlies. They go to the Grizz with the full roster, Ben Simmons and Kyrie, and they go down to Miami. Uh, they face off with the Hornets
right.
at home again, Pistons at home again, Bucks at home
Okay,
again. That'll be interesting. I think that'll be an Eastern Conference Finals preview.
right,
Then they have the Nets. They'd be go down to Atlanta versus the Hawks. Then the Rockets coming to town on the 5th. They play the Knicks again, so they'll be without Kyrie, but they should be good with Ben Simmons
right.
alongside KD as long as he can stay healthy for the remainder of the
Yeah,
season.
sure.
Then they got the Cavs coming into town and the Pacers, which is a TBD game to be decided. So
Right.
I mean I think they can go 75. They can win 75% of this game. So I think the um I don't think that they can reach that sixth spot in the East, which they possibly could beat Cleveland out for that sixth spot.
Okay.
Um, let me put up the standings for let me put up that standings NBA standings so you can get a better look. NBA. Okay. Can you see the screen with the
Um.
standings?
Right now, I see. Well,
Okay, hold on.
we're blocking it right now, but
Hold on. Let me see. Let's go to it. Hmm. Yeah, so you see it right here? You should be able to see the screen now.
uh, I see the
No.
bottom part. Like I see the eighth place, but I don't see.
Oh
And
nah, so I guess you can't let me
yeah, oh,
take some things off the screen.
yeah, you may need to adjust that. Okay, I can see. I can see it now. You had it up there a second ago.
There you go. You see it?
It's coming up now. Okay, I got it. I guess got to get it a little bit more wider. Let me see. Can I widen this up a little bit?
Well, I'm gonna go through it. You got the Nets. I'm predicting. They at 36-30, so I'm gonna say the Nets probably they'll be safe with about 40 games on their belt because that seems to be the new bar now. You just whichever team gets the 40 games first,
Right,
they
right,
safe for even for the play in if they don't make the eighth spot. But the Cavs they right at 38 games. I don't see why. I don't see why they would lose out. I mean, I left it. Let's see. They got the Bulls, Clippers. Oh, they got a tough schedule, man.
right.
Say they can get that win with the Pistons, cause yeah, that's a back to back. So I don't know. Pistons, Raptors. I could see Mavericks. They could possibly win those games.
Right.
Um, the Knicks as well. So they might have a shot to getting that six seed and not having to be a play-in team.
Who that? You talking about
The
the
Nets, that is.
right,
Mm-hmm. Um, but anyhow, that's what the Nets are faced with going finishing out the season.
yeah, but even
Now,
if like just say for instance, just hypothetically, if the Nets have to do the playing game, who really wants to play them? I mean,
right? Yeah,
you got to look at it from that perspective too. Who
yeah,
wants to
you're
play this game?
right.
You know
Exactly.
what I
Who would
mean?
want to play
So
them?
yeah, so I think Nets is going to be okay as long as they get all the
Either
guys
way,
back healthy and they ready to go. I
right,
think they're going to be ready to make a run for it.
right. I
You
mean,
know,
then we got Charlotte at the ninth spot. They 35-34. You know, Charlotte is 35-34. Then you have no, excuse me, I got that wrong. What's Charlotte's record? Charlotte, yeah, they 33-35.
right?
So that could be a stretch. I mean, it's anybody's race from this point. You got the Hawks 32-34, and you got the Wizards and Knicks at 29 games. 29 games Wizards, 29-36. Knicks at 38-39. I think the Knicks, in order for them to make the playoffs, they're gonna have to go 12-3 because I think they got like 15 games left. They're gonna really have to go
Uh,
12-3.
I mean, I would like them to go 12-3, but I don't know if they can do it. I don't know.
It's pretty much unlikely, right?
Yeah, I don't think they can win 12 games and go 12-3. I just don't see their team is not built like that.
Right, because they played, like we said, the Nets tomorrow, Trailblazers, Wizards, Jazz, Hawks,
I mean,
Hornets,
those games like the Hawks, the Jazz,
Heat,
the Nets, those are 50-50 games. Those are nice, like,
Pistons.
you
Yeah,
know,
they play the Bulls. They got the Hornets, Cavs, Knicks. I mean, Magic, Nets again, Wizards, and the Raptors. They got an easy schedule. I could see them. It's possible now. It's definitely possible
I
if
mean, they can beat Portland, they can beat probably
the
Orlando,
Wizards,
the
right?
Wizards, they can beat the Wizards.
I don't know about the
Um,
Jazz. I don't know about
nah,
the
I
yeah.
think the Jazz at this point will give them some problems right now.
Right. They can beat the Hawks. I feel like,
I don't know.
and
I don't
and,
know
and,
about that
and,
one.
and they can beat the Hornets. I feel like that's 4 games. The Heat, that's gonna be an L. They can beat the Pistons. Uh, you
Beat the
know,
Pistons, yeah.
uh, the Bulls,
Nah,
possibly, but they getting Lonzo Ball back. Um, Hornets.
right.
Yeah, they got the Hornets coming up. And then they got the Cavs, which I don't know about that, but I know the Magic. Who else? Easy one. Wizards and the Raptors. So they can win about 8 games. But I
Eh,
mean,
that's a stretch, man. It still is a stretch, man, because you don't know what Nick team is going to show up. And like I said, the last couple of games that I watched, I mean, they was on a 3-game winning streak, but last night they converted back to the old Knicks. They didn't have a
hmm
good fourth quarter, and that's what the Knicks is. They're not a good fourth quarter team sometimes, and
yeah,
they just fell apart. They just imploded last night. So I don't know. You know,
yeah. I don't.
it depends on you know. It really boils down to
If they
Julius
get about
Randle.
7 games,
It depends on Julius Randle
eight
and
nine
Barrett,
games, yeah.
man, and how they play, and the guys, if they can gel and make shots, man. Because if it's gonna be like one-on-one type of basketball,
Right.
They're not gonna make it.
Yeah, maybe if they, I didn't mean to say 7 games. I meant to say 8 and 9 games. Yeah, they
Okay.
would take about 9 games for the Knicks to even think
I
about it.
mean,
But 12 games, definitely they would be in there, definitely.
well, look at it this way. Look at it this
But
way.
9 games, they could possibly still get in there
When
without.
was the
They'd be
last time the Knicks have actually? I mean, what is a winning streak as far as winning games in a row? What is it? Maybe 4 games, 5 games? Have they even won 9 games in a row this season? I don't know what they winning streak
uh,
as far as
uh,
consecutive
lately.
games.
Lately, they've been 3-7 lately. So
Yeah, so that says a lot right there. That says a lot.
yeah, I mean, if they can win about 9, 10 more games, that gets about 38 wins on the season. That'll get them in there
Yeah,
playoffs.
and then you got to
Uh,
fact. Then you got to factor in also the records against those teams that's competing. Remember they play these teams what 6 times a season, maybe five
yeah,
times a season. You got to factor that in as well.
yeah,
How many times they beat this team, how many times they lost to this team. That's gonna factor in as well.
right. Because yeah, let's see with the Hornets. Let me check out. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I ain't gonna count them out, but Atlanta. Like I feel like Atlanta will go in there. Atlanta's gonna end up in that eighth spot. I just do. I just feel like that.
That's
I
the thing.
give the home state the benefit of doubt with Lamelo and Rozier. Those guys they balling.
Oh
But I
yeah,
just man, Atlanta is a tough out, man. Atlanta, they almost knocked out Philly last year in the playoffs, or did
yeah.
did they knock them out? 'Cause I
No,
know
they
they
did
knocked the
not. They
Knicks
did.
out.
They did knock Philly out.
Yeah, they knocked. Yeah, that's crazy. So
They knocked Philly out. Let me tell you something. That
Ice
team,
Trey,
yeah, Ice Trey, man. Yeah, they knocked him out. And then I think they played who they played after. I think they played the Milwaukee Bucks, and the Milwaukee Bucks knocked them out. But
yeah, it took
yeah,
the
yeah,
Milwaukee
but
to handle them.
the key thing also, Dave, is that the fact that Atlanta got that experience.
Right.
And that's those teams that didn't go far last year. They're looking to go further this year in the playoffs. So that's what's gonna make it interesting.
Yeah.
So
I mean, in the West, we got the Lakers at the ninth spot, and the Pelicans at the 10th spot.
yeah,
They got a hard schedule. Let me see if I can bring up the Lakers schedule right quick. Uh,
the Lakers,
which it ain't
man.
even no point in me bringing that up because LeBron can get it done. So
Hey, man, you never bet against the king, man. I always say that. Don't bet against the king. You never know.
for sure, man. Let me see. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you can see that, but
Yeah, I can see that.
okay. All right, yeah. So we got the Lakers, man. They I think what the Lakers are. What is the Lakers record right now? Shit, the Lakers are. Yeah, they 29-38.
Okay,
So I don't see nobody catching them Wolves right there. They 38-30 at the seventh spot,
right,
and the Nuggets they solidified. Surprised to see Luca in there, but 35-34 is the Clippers at the eighth spot. The Lakers really good. Yeah, they don't have to catch nobody. They just have to win the eighth spot out, win the
right,
eighth spot, and the Pels. The Lakers don't have to. They're gonna have to beat the Pels. I mean, they're getting C.J. McCollum back, man, and it's turning their season around. They possibly a team looking in is the Spurs at 26-41. They
right.
possibly could take them, you know.
Okay.
But you giving the Pels a shot at beating the Lakers for that play-in spot to play the Clippers? Nah.
Nah, I don't think so. I wouldn't bet against LeBron in that situation. I would, my money would be on Lakers to win that game.
All right.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Uh,
I wouldn't bet against LeBron in any kind of playoff situation. I wouldn't.
all right. Yeah, man.
Unless they're playing against my Celtics in the championship, then I have to go with my Celtics.
All right. All right. All right. All right. So other than that, I don't really. I don't see nobody. But the East is just a tricky one. That's all it is to it. The East. That's
Right.
the tricky beast in the East, man. Let me show.
Yeah.
Let me bring that up again, cause let's see, East. Yeah. Did I bring up the standings for the East? Let's see. Yeah, like I said, that 38, the Cleveland at the sixth spot, 38-28. The
Right.
Raptors can either move up and take over their spot, which I doubt it. 2 games behind, 38 and 30, 36 and 30.
Right.
And then you got the Nets, which they 4 games behind Cleveland. They can definitely go on to 9. They got like what? The Nets got how many games for the rest of the season? Let me look and see. They got 15 games. I'm quite sure that if you think the Nets can win 12 games?
Uh,
10, I know they can win at least 10 games, 19
provided,
games.
provide maybe 10, but provided the fact that this guy's not playing the home games, nah, I don't think they can win 12 games.
Right. Well, either way, like you said, the play as a play-in team, they could take over that number one spot. They'll be second
Right.
round going against the Heat, so we'll see that action. But other than that, man, what anything else you can add?
No, I think it's gonna be like I said. Right now, it's gonna come down to the wire, like you said, man. Who wants it more, who's more
Right.
consistent, and like I said, and who's coming in with not a team that's healthy without a lot of injuries. I think that's gonna be the key to this, man. The
Right.
Knicks, like I said, to me, is like a long shot for them, but can they make it? Yeah, it's possible, man.
It's
Um,
possible.
it's possible, but if I'm like I said, when I used to be a Knicks fan back in the days, there's a lot of sleepless nights, man. A lot of sleepless nights, man.
Yeah,
Like,
they
man,
4 games behind
yeah,
the Hawks.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so uh
So, and like I said, we'll see what happens.
yeah.
We'll play it by ear. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be exciting, and with this new format, let's see if
Right.
if it be okay.
Right. So all right. We're gonna wrap it up, man. We'll be back later on tonight to give our pregame predictions before the games tip off. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I mean, we just giving a breakdown on what's to come for these next 4 weeks. It's the race for the playoffs. But make sure if you haven't by now, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell. And hopefully we'll see you back later on today because we'll be here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and sign out, man. I'm courtside and straight talk Ted, man, and we'll see y'all guys later, man.
All right,
All right,
easy
one.
one.